Well, good morning. Just now waking up. No, I've been up about 45 minutes, I guess. About 7:30, 8 o'clock. But I didn't go to sleep last night till about 1:30. Let's see here. 5 hours and 34 minutes worth of sleep. So, I shouldn't sit up and watch Netflix. I keep hearing something. That's the wine cooler runner. I don't know what that noise was. Oh, good Lord. Oh, start sneezing again. Yawning. Just looking forward to going out to Arizona. He said, well, give me 2 or 3 days. I got to get everything packed. I said, he's taking the little car. He can sleep down in it. It's a hatchback like that. You can let the seats down and sleep in it. Put in some quilts and some mattresses and stuff in the back. He usually sleeps sitting up, but I never could figure out that. They did that in the Civil War. That's why the cots and some of them old forts were so short. They believed it, since, I guess, the knowledge of time to the Civil War, they believed in setting up sleeping. Yeah. We have to have a big old king-size bed. Hell, they just sat up and leaned on one another and slept. How about that? I can't sleep sitting up. I have to lay down. A lot of people sleep in these recliners. I can't sleep in this damn recliner. Barely sitting the damn thing. I've got to get out there and sort through. Oh, I've been saying that for 2 or 3 days. I might make a video if I get a chance to do that. It's cool in the morning in Arizona and hot in the afternoon. I think having great big bashes out there in the setting there. I'm going to stay isolated by myself. There's a couple people I want to go see that I'm friends with. And the majority, I don't care about seeing. Them great big get-togethers, I'm going to avoid the hell out of them. And I'm going to stay 6 to 10 foot back from even visiting people I know. Use that social distance for all my advantages. And even wear a mask because I don't want to give them sick and I don't want to get me sick. Me and Chris wear a mask religiously. And we're in the public, like getting gas or fuel, we wear gloves, mask, and everything else. Wear all my PPEs. I just got to get away for a little while. I'm not a stay-at-home type person. That was my wife's job. That's what she liked. I didn't stay home, she did. And we'd go to Hilton and stay where there's a pool and a hot tub and a sauna and shopping and all that other stuff. That was her. She was not a pioneer. Her pioneer was sleeping under somebody else's covers and sheets. A lot of times she'd bring her own stuff. She'd bring the kids some sleeping bags and stuff. She didn't like them being in an opposite room, or she'd have cots brought in or whatever. She was a very protective mother. I said, well, Kathy, these kids are getting to be teenagers. They can stay in their own damn room. No, I'll know what they're up to. I'll know what they're doing. And that way, I can't worry about somebody breaking into the room or they leaving the door open or cracked or something, somebody coming in on them. I said, well, I'm sure they could scream, but right through that damn doorway. She'd make them leave the door open. Oh, she was quite a mother. I miss her terribly. Just think about it, being married at 16 and then losing them when you're in the 70s. All your whole life, that's all you know. And she knew I was a hoarder. When she left me, I just hoarded up this damn place. What I'm looking at now, I need to get rid of some of this shit. I need to open some of this shit and see what kind of damn presents I bought myself over the years and didn't know ever open. This house is immaculate condition. Immaculate 2013. I mean, everything was just perfect. And that's the way she did it. And her bedroom's still that way. I just shut the damn door. Those white sheets over every damn thing, shut the damn door. I didn't need it. It was 2 years later before I turned off the damn television. How about that? Maybe she held, she left it on for a reason. I tell you, she could sleep with the TV running, I couldn't. We had a great big bedroom. There was 20 by 20 bedrooms with a doorway in between them. And then when she she fell one night, and I didn't hear her. She was in her bedroom, and I was in mine. And after that, that was 2007 or something like that. And I moved my bed into her bedroom. And then on was 2 big queen-size beds. So it was hell to make. She didn't like me because I sort of bounce up and jump over when I sleep. And when I turn, she didn't like that. You shaking the whole damn bed. And woke me up. I said, okay. She was like, she slept in a big old queen-size bed, and hell, she wasn't 4 foot 11 inches tall. Couldn't hardly find her in the big old bed. And she could pull them covers, oh my God, act like she rolled up in them or something when we slept together. And when you newlyweds, we slept on a 3/4 bed, a little bit bigger than a half. It wasn't a full. 3/4. They used to make a 3/4 bed, and they make a twin. You know. But anyway, we slept together. How was young? We didn't know anything. I weighed 136 pounds. She weighed about 86. Hell, that's a big old bed. That's what we weighed. Then we got big. I got big. She didn't. You remember all the crazy little stuff. There ain't no way in hell she'd go to Arizona with me unless she flew and stayed in Phoenix. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff to do in Phoenix. I didn't care too much. Remind me of damn Las Vegas, and damn sure didn't care about that place. I lived in the desert in Brawley, at West Morton, by the Salton Sea. Lived down there with that Bell, Annabelle. She was married 7 times, had 22 kids. It was all out of her first husband. She had 3 sets of triplets. No, 4 sets of triplets and 2 sets of twins. And as all well educated, she married 6 other men besides her first husband. Hell, they owned ski resorts. Let's see. They owned big lettuce fields in southern California. They owned an oil refinery in Vallejo. See what else they owned. They owned all kinds of shit. She married rich men. She was a damn good-looking woman at 36. When she had all of her kids. She's less than 40 years old when she had her last one. I think she's 36, 38, somewhere around there. That's when she started marrying all them other men. She died about a year later after that baby was born. The last one. And she was a bootlegger. A religious bootlegger. Oh, every Sunday we go to church. She was bootlegger way before I met her. Well, I knew her. I stayed with her, let's put it that way. I knew her since I was born, but she bootlegged whiskey during the Prohibition days. She had to feed all them damn kids by herself. I think that's how she run a speakeasy. She's quite an old gal. Go to church every Sunday, make sure every one of them kids had a religious background. She said, I know it's wrong, but she said they drank anyway, and I got to feed these kids. That's what she'd tell me. That's why she did it. She didn't drink at all herself. She made some of the smoothest whiskey, she said. I said, well, you had to taste of it. She said, yes, I tasted of it. But she said I didn't drink. I guess a teaspoon ain't drinking. People did all kinds of things to make it during being in America. My ancestors came in George and Thomas came to America in 1636 on a ship show. They worked over for the passage. I found out a lot of this stuff, and I worked my genealogy out. But my mother, she always said, oh, I'm American. And she wasn't. She was damn Irish Jew. The Jews wasn't thought too much of, like the black people of, or this, that, and the other. A lot of nationalities and races wasn't thought too highly of. Well, Mom, they didn't think too much of Indians either, did they? Of course, I didn't find out until after she passed away and everything else. So I had my DNA done. Found out she was Irish. And then I got to research, and wasn't no bit of Indian at all. This is a dog will tell you everybody. That dog is covered up in his blanket, but he knows every time somebody moves in his house. He's my little protector. He's old and graphic, that's about it. Yeah. So you'd be surprised. I encourage everybody to get their DNA done. I mean, it's like $100, $150, something like that. I think it was $100 when I had it done. I don't know what it is now. Hell, if it's $300, it's still worth the money. They give you a count of, and they go back and it's sort of like a show, it's like Ancestry.com or whatever, that black guy that talks and has those people's DNA done, or Ancestry done. I had mine done. Actually, my niece, she was the one that she came to me, her and her mother, which her mother wasn't here, and she said she went to her other uncle that was in the church. He wouldn't do that. No, they don't go do that kind of crap, he said, basically. So she came to me. She had a hard time finding me. They said, well, we'll pay for it. I said, no, hell, I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. And so I said, as long as you give me the information. Her daddy had already died, and she didn't have, she had a complete DNA on her mother, which actually, that would have been her grandmother. You know, but she had it on her mother and her grandmother, because her grandmother was still alive at the time, which was my brother's wife. And so it'd be my great niece. Okay. uh, she came and we had it done. That's when I found out my mother wasn't Cheyenne Indian. She was a Irish gypsy. And I knew about, she's really superstitious. She had she played, she used tarot cards, but she used to play in deck of playing cards. They were the first tarot cards. You know, the cards you play with, like you play canasta with, or kid rummy or whatever. That's the first tarot cards. In fact, she taught me how to read them. I could tell you all kinds of weird shit she does. My Annabelle was her sister. And she said that, what is it? She said my mother used to use black magic, so she told her to quit it. But you can use certain things like that. You know, if you believe in heaven, you got to believe in hell. If you believe in God, you got to believe in the devil and all his dominions. Come here to Daddy, little guy, and stare at it. But I advise everybody to have their DNA done if they can afford it, and I think everybody could save up their Christmas present to have that done. I mean, I was fortunate. I can only go back who married who. Now, I've got who married who since 1545. And then I've got some spots all the way back through there to 450 BC. Come here. There's a castle over there. Our name means Castle Mound or Castle Mountain, whatever you want to call it. And that property is still there and still in my surname. There you go. I got to figure what the hell that word was. But I'll tell you what, 2 strokes and a heart attack, my brain ain't what it used to be. And when there was too much, even though I had a doctorate in biology, microbiology, my brain still ain't too good now. Oh, I can function. I can't. People's names, sometimes I don't pronounce them because I know I'm going to screw it up. You know, and even what was the hardest word I had when I had that stroke, I had to learn how to walk, use my hands, everything, other than just stare out into space. And the first word, what was it? It was a real simple word. Well, one word I messed up was walk and work. I think it was walk and work. Yeah. And I have trouble with my vowels. I've always had a little bit of trouble, but after that last stroke, I had real trouble. My mind sees the words, can spell the word, but can't pronounce the word. Well, that's pretty damn sad. And I do better with long words than I do short ones. Like who or him or he or what. Little bitty words. I have trouble with them. Big long words like encyclopedia or Britannica or something like that, I'm fine with that. But that's enough about my handicap. We'll jump up here with Daddy. I want to take the dogs and have them run around in the desert, have a good time. You got to watch the coyotes who eat them when you take them out there, so they're going to be inside at night with me. During the day, I don't walk off or leave unless I put them inside and lock them up. They've got fans and stuff. If it gets warm in there, they can keep them cool. Come here, do that. Let's see, he's mad because Chris got mad yesterday or irritated because his little dog peed on one of the blankets. He picked up all the blankets and put them in the washing machine. He said he probably peed on all of them. I said, okay. So I didn't have but 2 or 3. I had 3 clean blankets. So I threw down one for Ori, one for baby girl, she sleeps on the van, and one in the dog bed for Big Boy. Now, boy won't take the dog bed. He has to be on the carpet with his blanket, and usually right before you leave the room, or right in the nearest part of the room, so you can't have to step over him, so he can monitor traffic and this. Yeah, I've got. It was George the Pioneer, basically, that came over from England. Now he was kin, I guess I am too, to the royal bloodline back during Charles II and the German Queen. She well, actually from Holland or whatever the hell they call it, Romania, somewhere up in there. And basically, we were kin to her and her bloodline. We're the Angles and the Saxons and the Justins. We came out of the Justin tribe. That they were drove out of Germania, Holland, Norway, Sweden, up in there. In 450 BC by one of the Roman emperors, Caesar or whatever the hell he was. They drove them out of there, so they fled to England in 450 BC. And that's how come they left it, and they stayed in England. So, like I said, but I got, like I said, all the way back to 450 BC when they drove them out. And I've got spotted names and so on and so forth from back to there. But that castle or the valley where they came from is named after my surname, and it's still there. But they spelt it a little different. They spelt it SCH instead of SL. The Germans spell shit a little different, like the old Bibles. The old English Bibles are spelled different. I've got one, leather bound. It ain't very big, but it's old. My German is High German, what they call it. There actually wasn't German. They were basically Holland, Norway, up in that area. Out on that neck. Danish, up in there. The Danes, that's when they went to England, become the Danes, remember, the Danish. I can't encourage people enough. Find out all you can about your ancestors, And I gave each one of my grandsons a book that said who they was married to who, and who begot all the way back. Now I've got some of my ancestors, like how many kids were born in my family, who they married, and stuff like that. That branches off of me, and then like my dad's folks, my grandpa's kids, who they married, who they branched. That I went on and researched all the information I could get, and then I got that niece that she brought it all the way up from the 40s. She worked on it some of the later stuff, I gave up after my kids were born. I don't have really who married who, everything else after my kids, which would be my grandkids and great-grandkids. I figured hell they could do that themselves. But I enjoyed it. I really did. It cost me $100 for my DNA, which then I found out about stuff. My dad's folks, people, they came from, like I said, they fled the persecution of religion in Holland, I think it was, or in Denmark, that's where it was, and went to England. in like say 450 BC. I don't know what they were religious or whatever, but they said they fled because they didn't get along with the ruler, Caesar. And then after that, they fled England because of the Protestants and the Catholics, and so did the Irish. Now, my mother's people, they left Ireland during the potato famine, and they actually went to Canada. There is a bay or a port, or whatever you want to call it, named after their surname that they landed in Canada. Around Hudson Bay, there's a little inlet or place to pull a ship into, whatever, and it's named after them. Now they come in the potato famine, and then they worked their way down through, down through into America. So therefore, yeah, my dad was married the first time, and I've got half brothers and sisters. Of course, there's 14 in my mother's group. My mother had 14 kids. And he basically was 27 raising kids of his own. And he basically did some dealings and stuff. Gypsy family, I guess, after I found out all this stuff, I found out from other people in history records and stuff that he married my mother at 14. He basically traded for her. So I don't know what the trade was, but that's basically how he got a hold of her. She loved him dearly, she said. She was awful jealous of him. So Dad cared a lot for her, too. But he basically made a deal so he could raise his first batch of kids. She was something else. But back in them days, the church people and the gypsies and all that stuff, they sort of was outcast anyway. So, yeah, I can tell you all kinds of weird stories. The gypsies, they went from town to town. They didn't have a good reputation either. The Puritans, they moved in a community. They wasn't thought very highly either. So there you go. But now you can't change who your ancestors are and who the hell would want to. But I thought, like I said, I did my brother-in-law was married to my sister, and the one that wasn't in the church, not Bonnie, but another sister. I had plenty of them. And her husband's grandpa was a horse thief, and he changed his name from what it used to be to the word Miller. And that really wasn't his ancestor. So that's as far back as I could go. But I did find out his grandpa was a horse thief. And then let's see, my sister Bobby, I did her ancestry. But like I said, it's something you need to check into, some of that stuff. I got into my ancestry, found out some old wills that was left to property left to the church, even household instruments, like a big wood carving bowl was get left to a person. Just all kinds of little weird odds and ends shit. It's funner now. Yep. I better go. I can't rattle all the time. But I advise everybody to do their DNA and research their ancestry. Write it down. Even if you can't remember but your grandmother and grandpa are on both sides or whatever. Write everything down for your kids, because after you're up and gone and croaked, they can't ask you these questions. They can't say, well, Dad, were we kin to so-and-so, or blah, blah, blah. They can't do that shit. See, my dad was the record keeper for the church. Keep you marrying your own first and second, third and fourth and fifth cousin. And that's what happens. Especially in a tight community like a religious community or whatever. You have to really be careful not marry your cousins or something like the rural people and end up with a bunch of screwed up and deformed children. Yeah. So, like I said, my dad's folks, like I said, he married a gypsy, so that brought new blood into the community. I was supposed to be marrying this other girl that when I left home. Of course, they pick out who, if you live past 6 years old, hell, you don't get a name till you're a year old. And you're born at home, so you wrote down the Bible, you don't have a birth certificate. So if you live past a year, you get a name. If you live past 6 years old, they've already picked out you a mate. So when you get 16 or 18 or whatever the hell, some of them got married. Hell, I think some of them got married 15. It's like the old part of the Bible where it says it's better to marry than it is to burn. So when you got sexual active or whatever, they just married your ass home. And that way you kill two birds with one stone. But that didn't mean you got a farmhouse and property. It just means you got to start your family sooner. They already had me somebody picked out, which since the contract fell through because I left home then, she married my brother. Or they married her off to my brother, let's put it that way. Something happened to his choice, but I think she died. Called scarlet fever and died. So since the contract between the families, they married him off to, which was the one they had chose for me. And I married me an Austrian Jew. So I got plenty of branches. I better go. You guys have that great day. And remember, life is what you make it. So make it full of interesting shit. Take care. Have a great one. I would, like I said, I would be interested in make a comment and tell me about what's so unusual about your family. Like my grandmother one time, she fed breakfast to Pretty Boy Floyd and his group of people. There was outlaws. And, I thought that was interesting and funny. He left her $20. That was like paying $200 back in days. But anyway, you'd be surprised what's in your family tree or things that happened or whatever. You know, who you might be kin to down the pike. Like I said, I found out I was sort of kin to the Queen of England through my dad's side. I'm like, I guess, 150 removed. I think a lot of them royals died before I sat on the throne.